I never thought I'd be here again. And it's not really my audience, right? Um, but there's times where things bug me. So back to the crappy lipstick. So I've ignored that for the last little bit. All right, let's see if Jacqueline's answered it and talked about it. Yep. Has she made it worse? In my mind, she has, but she's still gaining subscribers. How is she gaining subscribers? How do you sell lipsticks that you're lying about and gain subscribers? And she's still lying, and people are pointing it out. And for anybody who's wondering what I'm talking about at all, I will link to the tweet. More importantly, I will link to the response to her tweet, which sent out, here's the link to the video. Here's what happened. So she says that these lipsticks have hairs and fibers in them because everybody's handling them with cotton gloves. No. 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 And I say no because I didn't work in the beauty industry, but I spent 15 years working with meat products. So I know a little something about trying to make sure that you're not killing people with product you're selling. You use non-latex gloves. So you use your blue, like the same kind of gloves that a doctor wears, dentist wears. That's what you use in facilities like that. B, I've been reading up on it, and people don't stand there on an assembly line with them. Not anymore. I think the biggest problem with it is, so you've got this influencer who says, hey, I got 6 million followers. How am I going to make a maximum amount of money on this? I know, I'll sell something. It would be like on the Hockey Guy channel me saying, hey, guys, I've got 100 plus thousand subscribers now. I'm going to launch my own jersey, and it's going to be great. And it's going to have rhinestones in it, and it's going to have lasers. And then, in the midst of all of it being manufactured, it turns out the lasers are capable of bringing down large aircraft if you're standing near an airport. But I didn't know better. So it's up to the laser manufacturer. See, this is where the problem is. If I put my name on something, if I put my name on a product, I'm directly tied to it. So the apology comes from me. And what she does in this latest video is deflect, deflect, deflect. She speaks very quickly and very angrily, I might add. It's a very angry video. And what makes me laugh too is this was pointed out that in the beauty industry, which is James Charles and all of them, when they post a video where they're crying or they're apologetic or they're answering something, they don't wear makeup. They won't wear makeup in those videos. Gotta be real. And I'm gonna say straight out, she looks way better without makeup than she does with makeup. Some of these pictures I've seen of her on Instagram and Twitter, because there's a morbid curiosity there about like, well, she's a beauty guru. Is she beautiful? And I looked at some of these pictures and I'm like, is she an alien? Because these are really, really filtered. And to me, it would be like me saying, hey, I've got this really nice shirt here. Not going to show it to you. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of it, and then I'm going to run it through a million different filters on Instagram. But I promise, it's great. If the only pictures I'm going to show you of the stuff that I have on these racks is highly, highly filtered, and I might want to add, I don't wear makeup in my videos. I know it's hard to tell, right? Beauty guru and all that. I don't wear makeup in my videos. Stay away from it. I have worn makeup before. There was a time at the old house where I had a pimple on my face that was just driving me mental. And I asked Yvonne, I said, is it really noticeable? And she's like, and as soon as your wife hesitates, it's sort of like she wore a dress once and she said, how do I look in this dress? And I said, well, what do you think? Which means I don't want to answer that. I'm better off not answering that question. So hesitation is bad. Now, where Jacqueline gets mixed up here is that her hesitation to produce a video, because right away it should have been, I'm on the phone to my reps, I'm going, this is a disaster. This is an absolute unmitigated disaster. I need to shut this down. We have to do a recall. Now, I watched a video from a YouTuber whose channel is called Kenna, Kenna, and she does a very good job of dissecting what exactly is going on here and what she doesn't like about it. And it's a video that's garnered over 50,000 views, and I hope it gets a lot more because she's a chemist. So she knows. Here, Shadow. Come on. Come on. You don't have to go in the next room. He always wants to go in. There's a shut door downstairs, and there's nothing in that room, but he figures I should be allowed to go in that room at all times. If I open that door right now, he'll just walk away, which means there's an open door and it's kind of drafty under the stairs, but he wants access to the room. Anyways, so what this chemist has done is she's looked at them and she said there's something wrong here, and she even went through the ingredients and said you could potentially have contamination with these ingredients. I'll come back to my example. So I'm doing a major rollout of something. I'm going to want to make sure that everything is really above board. Now let's just say instead of jerseys that it's steaks. Let's just say that because I have 15 years of experience working in meat processing plants, it's going to be steaks. You know what? As somebody who knows them, I'm going to be standing right there on the line watching them get produced. I'm going to be at the other end of the line. I'm going to be going over everything. I'm going to make sure there's no air pockets. I'm going to make sure there's nothing on them. She mentions in the video about the cotton gloves. Well, I'm going to keep an eye on things. Cotton gloves are fine when you're in post-production. So when everything's already post-wrapped. That's the only place I've ever seen cotton gloves in a factory is when you're in shipping, when you're weighing stuff off that's already been completely bagged and sealed, and there's no way for anything from those cotton gloves to get in. Because here's the thing. I'm standing on a line, I put on a cotton glove. There is nothing preventing something on me from getting onto the surface I touch with those gloves. That's just the reality of it. Now, what throws me off is she said they were shedding fibers. I've worn many, many cotton gloves. I've never seen them shed fibers like that. Not that frequently and not with that regularity. That's insane. And then the other part that she talks about as well that throws me off is she says the vats were cleaned out with a towel and then sterilized. No. I worked with sausage and with grinds. And grinds is where you get your hamburger from. And you always hear that phrase, you don't want to see how the hamburger gets made. Why not? If you can't handle seeing where the hamburger gets made and how it gets made, you're crazy. It's not nearly as bad as people think it is. The stuff that goes into sausages, hamburgers, hot dogs isn't nearly as egregious as people think it is. It's just the parts of steaks and parts of meat you're not going to want on your steak. And it's fine to grind it up and make ground beef out of it, and it doesn't harm anybody. And it's not... Anyways, totally sidetracked. Got off track there. You pressure wash. You get a hot water hose, and you crank up the high pressure... and you pressure wash the crap out of it. And you do it until it's 100% clean. And not only that, but you have inspectors coming around. I'm guessing, I didn't say anything about this, I'm guessing that in plants that manufacture cosmetics, that there's an inspection team. That there's somebody there. I mean, if they're FDA approved, that's great and everything. But there should be somebody on the premises who's doing random tests, who's doing all that product quality control, because we had that in our plant, where QA would come down, quality assurance, and they'd call down. So if you're running the line, it would be, Shannon, you got a copy. Go for Shannon. Shannon, we're going to come down. We're going to do a test. Keep a couple of trays aside. You got it. No problem. I go down to the other end of the line. I say, hey, hold back a few trays of product. They're going to do quality tests. They take it upstairs. They run some tests on it. And then if there's something wrong, they come downstairs and they say, what's on your line isn't any good. You guys are getting closed down. We got to sterilize everything, and everything that got produced today gets thrown in the garbage. And it happens. It happens. So I have a hard time believing that this can happen in a plant where there's one product that's being sold for humans that you don't want being contaminated and not in another. And that's where I have a big disconnect again with a YouTube influencer who's trying to distance herself from what went wrong here. Again, if there were THG steaks coming out, I know people's mouths are watering just thinking about it. And don't worry, I'll make sure they're nice and gluten-free. I'm magic that way. So if there were steaks coming out, I would be in that factory. I'd be standing there. I'd make sure. I would make sure that I had exactly enough to meet the production run. I would make sure that they were being transported correctly. I would be involved in every single step. And if anything, I would be a complete jerk about everything. I'd be sending stuff back that they'd be like, come on, Shannon, there's nothing wrong with this. I'd be like, you know what? You might be right. I don't want my name on this. It's going to a customer. Smarten up. That's why with where I worked, we had people come in from the store's retail level who would look at the product and sometimes be like, you might want to do a really good job on this because, the people from the stores are coming in today. And I remember my response to that was always, I always try to do my job properly, so I'm just going to go back to work because that's kind of weird. I always assumed, I always approached, whether it was working with poultry in my first job or whether it was working with beef and pork and sausage grinds, whatever it was, I always approached it with the idea of my family could buy this product and are they going to be okay buying this product? So we circle back to Jacqueline. The question that didn't seem to get asked to her was, well, she's like, these are oxygen bubbles, which, okay. There were a lot of things in her response to what was wrong with the product that I kept thinking, so if this is really that simple, if this is something that's really that obvious, you're going to roll your eyes and talk down to everybody and try to make everybody feel stupid for complaining about the product, why doesn't it happen everywhere? Why don't we hear this all the time about beauty products? And if sending beauty products through the mail causes them to melt, why is it just hers that this has been a big complaint about? Why isn't it happening everywhere? And it reflects on the rest of us because, and I'll come back to this again, because people are like, why is Shannon talking about this? This is some other, whatever thing. And I know, she's got almost 6 million subscribers for some bloody unknown reason I don't get. And I've got almost 7,000 on this one, and I got 103,000 on the other one. You put the two together, I'm still nothing. Not even a ripple in the pond of YouTube that she occupies. But when something like this goes mainstream, it affects the rest of us. When somebody puts their name on an inferior brand, it affects the rest of us. So if at some point in time, somewhere down the road, I'm saying, well, I think it's time, I think there should be some Hockey Guy pork chops. Yes, Hockey Guy pork chops. For the best tailgating party you can have. And we're going to ship them worldwide. That's right, pork chops to Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, you name it. We're going to ship these pork chops, and I don't care if they have a 10-day expiry date, that we're going to overnight them to Sweden. I don't care what they cost. Yeah, that's not happening. At one point, I remember the plant that I was working at, talking about shipping stuff to China, and I was like, so we got to freeze it then, right? Because again, you have a 10-day turnaround. If it's frozen, it's about 6 months. And this is where it's really good to have that background. Because when I'm eating meat products, I kind of know what to look for. And when I'm in a store, I'm a pretty good guy to be around a meat department with, where I'm like, you don't want that package, take that package. I'm surprised that it doesn't seem to be hurting her brand. I'm surprised that it doesn't seem to be hurting her channel. I'm alarmed. I'm more than a little alarmed about it. This is a product that there's something wrong with, and we're still not getting the total story. Now you've got this nice Kenna channel representing. I don't know if her name's actually Kenna. I no idea, but she's got 10,000 subscribers in her little tidy little part of the internet, and odds are 9,000 of them showed up since she did this video on the makeup. But now she's left spending money out of her own pocket to send this stuff off for microbial testing. That should be Jacqueline doing that. She really should be doing that. If she's got 6 million subscribers, almost, and she's getting, 1 million views here and 5 million views there, she's making big money. Not only that, but the cynic in me says this. Let's just go back to the Shannon pork chops. That's a business expense. Not only that, but me paying for the quality assurance to be done and the quality to be done, that's a business expense. If Jacqueline goes through the process of anything to do with following up on whether or not these products are any good, she can write that off as a business expense. She could go straight to, she's in the States, so to the IRS and say, you know what? This is a legitimate business expense because there was a problem with some of my products and I got this story and I'm not sure that I trusted it. So I sent it off and I paid from my own pocket to test these products, and I'm going to share those test results with the world. And not only that, but for 100 people that say that they had a problem with my products, I'm going to pay to have those tests performed as well. You guys just send the product off. You guys let me know. I'll get together with you in DMs and we'll figure this all out. I want to get to the root of exactly what happened here, because these people are telling me what happened, but they sold a shoddy product, so I don't really trust their word. And that's what drives me nuts, is now she's kind of like, well, they told me this, so I'm not dealing with them anymore. That's not good enough. Why? Why did they lie to her? How does she know they're not lying now? This is what really drives me insane. She can't. Okay. Seriously. You have to be in charge of whatever you've got your name on. You have to take pride in what you do. Because if you don't, and if you're just in it for a quick buck, you make everybody else who takes pride in what they do look like trash. And I don't like the idea of, again, and this has happened a lot lately, where something happens on YouTube and all of a sudden it's all of YouTube. We're all under this giant umbrella. Well, okay, if I'm under this giant umbrella with her, well, there's this whole shower of crap falling down. Guess what? I'd rather not be dealing with it ever. I don't want like her products being absolute garbage and an advertiser going, I don't think we're going to advertise anymore on YouTube. Our advertisements are showing up on her videos. That's the kind of stuff that they produce on YouTube. And they walk out. Well, then that eats into ad revenue for everybody else. And that's why it affects us, and that's why I have to talk about it. That's why I have to do a video on this, knowing it'll get like maybe 150 views, maybe 200. It doesn't really matter. The fact is, what she does and the crap she's putting out there affects every damn last one of us. I wouldn't be sleeping at night. I certainly wouldn't just go, all right, I'm going to do a video, but I'm going to wear jeans and a t-shirt, and I'm not going to wear makeup. And done. Come on. This is when you need to start being completely transparent. This is when you need to start being completely honest. And I don't get the feeling that we've got that from her. And as a YouTuber, and if there's fellow YouTubers watching this, there has to be some kind of accountability. And sadly, she's still, last I checked on Social Blade, gaining subscribers. Who's clicking through right now and going, hey, that's the girl who's poisoned people with lipstick, right? People are getting like potentially sick. And before people say, well, it's no big deal, the video that I watched, and I'll link to that in the description for this as well. The Kenna video that I watched said, if you have an autoimmune deficiency problem, any sort of mold, any sort of potential contamination is not minor. And this kind of thing is really, really important to be very, very strict about, and just anyways, I guess maybe I have too much of a conscience for this. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As always, as I said, I'll link to the pertinent information in the description below this video. And again, I know people are going to say, Shannon, this has nothing to do with you. It all does. It all does. Just like the Adpocalypse last week, where they're banning certain channels and people are like, hey, that affects you. It does. But for now, and at this point and stage in everything that I'm doing, none of it's hit me. And there's things I agree with that this company that hosts my videos does. There's things I agree with them doing, and there's things I don't agree with them doing. In this case, this is a single influencer who's doing things that will make other influencers look bad. And I really think people need to start doing research, and if something's a brand new product coming from a YouTube influencer, grade the influencer. Because apparently she's done something similar to this before, and I haven't found the other scandal yet, but there's another scandal in there. So I'll get to that. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happen upon this video. And buy my pork chops when they come out. Just in time for Festy Fest. I'll talk to you again soon.